midnight. I'm supposed to be in bed asleep.
You ain't been to bed yet.
Musicians don't get up this early.
Well, I know how that is. I've made a significant shift in my rising time and sleep time in my old age. It's good to get up early. Greet the sun. There are plenty of songs about getting up early. Tell us a little bit about yourself. You're from Chicago.
Originally from Chicago. Born 1953, February 1953, Cook County, of course. Family moved to the west side. Jackson and Pulaski, attended Delano grade school. One of the schools they closed down, in fact, just recently, or will be closing. Moved to Cabrini-Green in '61, and we were there until like the '70s, Cabrini-Green, Old Town. And then the family moved out to the south suburbs, and I attended Rich Central. And graduated from there, Park Forest Olympia Fields, and attended college at Southern Illinois University. Got a degree in film and decided to join a blues band.
Well, a lot of us plan to do one thing and end up doing another. I'm working on a book of my photos with some commentary called Pictures from the Long Haul, and one of the earliest pictures I found that I took, I had some that burned up in my hot rod Ford back in 1960, but I found some pictures I took of Cabrini-Green in 1961, actually. Down on Sedgwick or somewhere near there, and it's some little kids playing in front of a gospel church of some kind. So, what do you remember most about growing up in Cabrini-Green?
Living on the 19th floor at 1117 North Cleveland, and I always remember this. You see the lakefront now, and you can barely see the lakefront, with all the skyscrapers, new buildings, and living on the 19th floor with an eastern view, Palmolive building shining its beacon right in your window, and just having this great view of the lakefront.
When you first came up here, John, you brought this guitar, and I said, well, what kind of guitar is that? You said, it's my roommate's, I just grabbed it. And then I told, it reminded me of a guitar I had, a Guild that my wife bought me. And my son, Cadian, who's now involved in a band called Twin Peaks, as a young kid would be taking it around to neighborhoods, parks, hanging out with it, and left it in a taxi cab. And we never found it. And he finally got me some acoustic guitar and put some lightweight steel strings on it that I'm playing around with my old fingers. But you said, that reminds me, and you told me a couple of stories about losing guitars. Why don't you share those?
I could share about 4 stories about losing guitars. The most recent one was last year. Mike went out.
Mike went out. You got Mike here? Well.
Okay. Testing 1, 2.
There you go.
Okay, can you hear me? All right. Story is we were heading, Slim and I and the band, we were heading to Denmark. Every year we go to Denmark. So I picked Slim up at his hotel, luggage and everything, get to the airport, grab everything but the guitar. Tour manager sees the cab, blue ribbon cab, heading towards the expressway. He said, where's your guitar? I'm looking at the cab with my guitar, and all of a sudden, everything
You never
changed.
got it back, or you did?
Oh, I got it back in about an hour, and thank you, Blue Ribbon, for being so accommodating. Lost my guitar in Copenhagen for 2 weeks and didn't worry about it. People said, aren't you worried? It says, no, I'm in Denmark. Where's it going to go?
You're wearing a shirt today that says Mojo something bar.
Oh, yeah, Mojo.
Is that from Denmark or Copenhagen?
Yeah, Mojo Blues Bar, Copenhagen, and it's one of our favorite venues.
And you were over there with Magic Slim?
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit of how you got hooked up with Magic Slim. Tell people who he is.
Magic Slim is one of the finest blues guitar players in Chicago. In fact, he is credited for creating the post-war, not the post-war, post-modern Chicago sound, being the early 60s into the early 80s, and he had a group called the Teardrops. And then their first record was Grand Slam, and I think he's got about 40 records.
And he passed away last year?
No, he passed away this February.
This year?
Yeah, 2 days before my 60th birthday, in fact.
So what are you doing now?
What am I doing now? Just back in town. Wife and I have been living in California for the past several years, and she's in North Carolina setting up residence and stuff. So,
well, it's good. It's good to have you. How about playing us a little bit of your music?
Okay, my music, and we can talk about Slim some more.
Yeah, that'd be good. Okay, you're going to listen to Jon McDonald, and he's going to play this guitar that we were talking about a little bit earlier, his roommate's guitar. And we're really honored to have you here today. I see we got some blues music fans with their cameras going wild, and that's good. We like to document these things.
Okay, I'll tell you the story about this guitar later. My roommate would be proud of it. Okay, here's a song by, well, it's just, some people say it's Big Bill Broonzy or Jazz Gillum. Here's one called Key to the Highway. Is this mic working? Okay. Yeah, I hope you can hear this. I got the key to the highway, built up and bound to go. You know I'm gonna leave here running, 'cause walk is just too slow. I'm going back to that border where I'm better known. You know you ain't done nothing but run a good man from home. So give me one kiss, mama, once before I go. I'm gonna leave here running, down the road I go. So give me one kiss, mama, once before I go. I'm gonna leave here running, down that road I go. When the moon peeps over that mountain, you know I'll be on my way. I'm gonna roam that highway until the break of day. I got the key to the highway, built up and bound to go. I'm gonna leave here running, ain't coming back no more.
Let's hear it. Let's hear it. That's really nice.
Thank you. Thank you.
Well, for people who don't know about Big Bill Broonzy, he was a Chicago guy, or at least he was here in Chicago a lot, and he was involved around the Old Town School when it was being founded in the 50s.
Right, Old Town Folklore Center on North Avenue,
Yeah.
North and Sedgwick. In fact, I grew up around there and hung out there reading the sheet music and staring
wonderful.
at guitars. So,
Well, my first album I ever bought, I grew up in Connecticut, and it was either the Johnny Ace album that I got, or it was this Columbia Adventure series on Big Bill Broonzy. And I remember the woman, when I looked at it and was interested, she said, "Oh, I don't think you'd like that." And I bought it, and I have it. I still have it. And I really like Big Bill Broonzy.
I still have Studs Terkel's, FMT, the interview that was actually recorded on FMT, and I've always treasured that. I still have it.
Oh, neat.
Still have the record. And Johnny Ace also.
Pledging my love. Too bad these guys played Russian roulette. Anyhow, that's a rough way to go. We're talking with Jon McDonald, and he is a blues player from Chicago, and he played with Magic Slim. Tell us a little bit more about Magic Slim and what it was like working with him. You worked with him close to 10, 12 years.
I started working with Magic Slim. Actually, got my itinerary on the day of 9/11. We were supposed to be leaving for Denmark on the 12th of September 2001. Didn't make it off the ground. Year and a half later, I wound up making it to Denmark, and I think I've made a total of 13 trips in 10 years, as well as other places. We've covered a lot of ground. One thing I do want to mention before I forget, June 5th, we're having a tribute for Magic Slim at Buddy Guy's Legends on the 5th of June. So
where's that at now? It's downtown?
Still in the same block at Wabash and Balboa.
Right.
Just right across the street from Conrad Hilton.
June 5th.
Yeah.
That'll be good.
Wednesday. And the band will be, members of the Teardrops. The core band for that night will be the gentleman that recorded with Magic Slim, the live CD, Anything Can Happen. On drums will be Vernell Sticks Taylor and Chris Bedron on bass, myself on guitar, and then we're just going to have the local talent pool, blues community come in, play some blues, do some Slim songs, tell a few stories, cry a little bit, And
what characterized Slim's music? I think I was, first I had to get straight between Magic Sam, who gave Magic Slim his name.
Well, then you know the story then.
Fill the listeners in.
Slim came, moved to Chicago at an early age, and Magic Sam was already here and, working the circuit on the west side. And Slim, I guess, took up the bass guitar and was playing with a group called Mr. Pitiful and the Teardrops. That's where he got the name, the Teardrops.
I like that, Mr. Pitiful. I remember that line. Oh, Mr. Pitiful. I'm going to use that. I'm going to talk to people. You, Mr. Pitiful, what they ought to call you.
So, apparently wasn't that great of a bass player. And Sam said, you need to go back and, work on the guitar. So as Slim puts it, he packed his bags, moved back to Grenada, Mississippi, where he's from, and learned a few,
and learned how to turn up the volume.
Yeah. And then he showed up and started, working, quite a bit with a few, people. So Sam is credited for giving Magic Slim his name, Magic Slim.
Well, Jon McDonald, in addition to putting on this tribute to Magic Slim that's going to be at Buddy Guy's Legend on June 5th, you've played with a lot of bands, and you informed me that you have your own band usually. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, it's just a bunch of guys that I call, just a little band that I've had for years. Put it together around the time, was it 1991. We were doing a seasonal gig with Lefty Diz many years ago. He passed away 20 years ago. And we do this little seasonal gig at a club by Wrigley Field called Wrigley Side. Then it was Abner's Yard. Lefty got sick around 92. And I have to give Lefty credit for sending me to Europe without a band, and that was about the time he got sick. He asked me if I wanted to go to Switzerland, and I said sure. And he did the other half of his tour in Paris and France, and that's where he got sick in October of 92. We had a tribute benefit for him in December of 92, and then he went into remission, and we did a few more jobs until May of 93, and our last job was, I think, May 5th, 93, and then he wound up playing rhythm guitar for Magic Slim in Brazil, and that was his last job. and I was returning from Switzerland, September 7, 93, and that's when he passed away.
You know, you mentioned Lefty Diz, and I got to say, in going through all my old photographs, I found some photographs of Lefty Diz, and I don't know where they were taken, if it was at Bitty Mulligan's or someplace else. I don't think they're my photos. I think they might have come to me because we were doing an article in the Heartland Journal, and I got to look it up. But if anyone's missing negatives from a great set with Lefty Diz,
Yeah.
I got them.
Yeah, you know, I should mention a few other people that I've worked with: Dietrich Fire, Valerie Wellington, Robert Covington. Done a few performances with Screaming Jay Hawkins at Bitty Mulligan's.
I remember him from those old Alan Freed rock and roll shows in the 50s.
Yeah, and I would put the bands.
I put a spell on you.
I would put the bands together for him and take it from there. And he was always fun to work with. Big Daddy Kinsey and the Myers Brothers, and once in a while Sunnyland Slim, and then Pat Hall.
Yeah, what's the status of the blues scene now in Chicago? And are there many African American guys playing, or is it because I saw a transition from, I used to go down to the Blue Flame at 39th and Drexel, and I would see excuse me, I'd see a lot of guys play. And then over the course of a number of years, I'd see more and more white musicians. You know, I remember Bloomfield and Butterfield and those guys coming on the scene. And then you would see, like, you'd see an old front man, and you'd see a lot of younger white dudes. I'm just wondering if how it's going today. I mean, is it are all kind of people playing the blues?
I think a lot of people are listening to the blues, as well as a lot more musicians are starting to take interest in it. My opinion of what's going on with the music now, and I'm just basically going to say we've lost 3 artists. We've lost Magic Slim, we've lost Jimmy Dawkins, and then there's Artie Blues Boy White. And that's a significant loss within the past several weeks. Now, if you look at it another way, before I was working with Magic Slim, I was working with Robert Jr. Lockwood,
I remember
James, Henry Townsend, and Honey Boy Edwards, and we were called the Blues Cartel, the Delta Blues Cartel. Well, I think one year it seemed like all 4 of the gentlemen died within 2-3 months of each other. Now, within the last several years, we've lost a significant amount of people, and this is about it. I mean, who else is there now besides Buddy, Eddie Clearwater, B.B. King, and B.B. King being the fountainhead.
Yeah, B.B. King's still kicking.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully there'll be some younger people come on and make a mark.
Well, I hope so, because one thing about the younger generation, I'm 60. I just turned 60 a couple of months ago.
You stay healthy, brother.
I'll try. I could think back 30 years ago when we were all a little bit younger and we had the masters around. Well, these guys would be playing and we would be sitting there learning. Nowadays, it's a meat market. You could be playing your brains out, but people are interested. They're not so much interested in the music. It's a place to go, a place to hang. The music is secondary, and it's not the same like it used to be.
Well, we like the music, so how about giving us another tune before we get out of here?
Okay. And one thing real quick. My whole experience with music in Chicago is listening to a lot of live music in Lincoln Park. One thing I remember is Mother's Day being North Avenue Beach with Corky Siegel. And
I was there.
I remember that. Elvin Bishop said he wasn't there, and I said, Elvin, you were there. I was staring right at you.
All right, here comes Jon McDonald.
Okay. Here's one of my favorite tunes. I'm going to do this one for Magic Slim because he used to bust my chops about doing a Robert Johnson tune. So I'm going to do this one for Magic, and June 5th. Buddy guys, if you're not doing anything, come on down with a bunch of good people. As Magic Slim would say, anything can happen. So thank you for the time here, and here's a song called Me and the Devil. morning, as he knocked upon my door, soon one morning, as he knocked upon my door, I said, hello, Satan. I do believe it's time to go. Me and the devil, we was walking side by side. Me and the devil, we was walking side by side. You know, I'm gonna love that woman until I be satisfied. Don't know why, man, why you want to dog me around? I don't know why you want to dog me around? You know, I'd rather be dead 6 feet in the lonesome ground. You can bear my body way down by the highway side. You can bear my body way down by the highway side. So that my evil spirit can catch a Greyhound bus and ride.
We want to thank Jon McDonald. We want to thank all of you who've been listening to the Live from the Heartland show. We'll be back next week with a bunch of really great guests. And we encourage you to do good in the world because the world needs all the good that you do. All power to the people. Take us out, Jon McDonald.
On behind. Yeah, the train, it left the station with both lights on behind. Well, the blue lights was my blues, and the red lights was my mind. All my love's in vain.
You're listening to 88.7 WLUW Chicago Sound Alliance, broadcasting from the campus of Loyola University.
WLUW.